And welcome back in, Retriever fans. Another edition of the UMBC Baseball Weekly Report with UMBC Baseball head coach Liam Bowen recapping the week that was, looking ahead to the week that will be for UMBC Baseball. And Coach, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
The Retrievers are 7-8 on the year, 2 big wins against Mount St. Mary's on Friday, after Coach alluded to last week, and with his insider information of some of the schedules getting changed. 7-4 win and a 17-13 win against the Mountaineers at Alumni Field. And then most recently on Tuesday, a loss at GW 2-0. Coach, let's just start off a quick recap with that Mount St. Mary's series.
Sure. Like you said, we had to make some changes. There was some bad weather in over the weekend, so we weren't able to play Saturday and Sunday. We've been fortunate this week. We've got a game today. We're recording right before BP of our UMass game. And it's a beautiful day. So hopefully winter's behind us. But the Mount St. Mary's series, I thought we played okay. We were really competitive. You know, when I think we ran into a little bit of adversity and we weren't playing as well as we hoped, I thought the guys really responded and did a nice job. And certainly a day where we swung the bats really well, you know, particularly in that game too, obviously, you know, scoring 17 runs. So a number of guys, you know, catch and barrel, squaring the ball up. That was really good to see. And I was overall just pleased with the competitiveness, pleased with the effort. We weren't always, I would say, sharp or clean, but we were always competing. And that's what you want from your team. So at the end of the day, you sweep a doubleheader, you have to feel good about it. That's a hard thing to do in Division I baseball, beat a team twice in one day. We were able to do that. So even though we didn't get to play that third game, it ended up being a decent weekend for us.
And then most recently on Tuesday, a 2-0 loss to George Washington, but a tough 2-0 loss. Their starter went pretty deep, but your pitching staff was pretty good as well. Just give a quick recap on that one.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game. You know, I thought we did a lot of the things we came there to do. You know, we were finally a little bit more pitch efficient. We were getting in and out of innings without spending so many pitches, which was something that we've been building towards as a pitching staff and something that we want to see continue now that we're after today's midweek game headed into conference play. That was really positive. I thought we defended really well, made a couple of really exceptional plays. You know, had some good at-bats. I think you have to give a lot of credit to GW. I thought they pitched it really well. Their starter was really good against us, a guy who would absolutely fit on a weekend rotation for a lot of teams, you know, and a lot of teams in our league. So overall, really well played game. Thought it was, you know, just a high-level college baseball game. We just came up a little bit short, but I always tell our guys, and, you know, when we talk about it as coaches, you have to draw a distinction between the result and the performance, right? The result wasn't what we wanted. A loss is a loss, you know, wins are wins, losses are losses, you know, so that's something you can't get away from and something that you have to be accountable to. But I thought the performance was pretty good. I thought if we perform that way going forward on a more consistent basis, we're gonna win more than our share of games. I think, you know, there was a lot of positives we can pull out of that. So tough to get shut out, tough to lose that one, but definitely some good things we can build on.
And then you talk about that progression from day one here this season to now. What has that progression been like? What have you seen out of this team, and how have they grown?
I think on the pitching side, we've seen guys like start to settle into roles and start to settle into the season and just execute pitches, you know, pitch to pitch. It's one of the things that the guys have heard me say a lot is pitching is not a position that's about perfection. It's not about throwing one perfect pitch. It's just about, you know, spitting out a number of good quality pitches over and over again. It's a position that really rewards consistency and kind of a more of a steady countenance than a guy just trying to do one thing really well and trying to make every pitch into a masterpiece. That's an easy way to drive yourself into tough counts. So I think we've been able to embrace that philosophy a little bit more. Yesterday was a great example of that. You know, I think we had one walk across 8 innings and, you know, just filled up the zone and got some early contact, and we were able to turn it into outs quite a bit. So that was really good to see. I think we've been, you know, defending pretty well as the season's gone on. And I think guys are starting to get their approach figured out at the plate. I know Coach Disher's done a good job of drilling into those guys, you know, how we have to approach each at bat. And baseball's a funny game, you know, Dave. Like I told the guys after yesterday's game, you know, across our last 2 games, we're averaging 8.5 runs a game. It's just that 17 were in one game, and we weren't able to score any yesterday. And that's how it goes. There's ups and downs with any team in our sport. Over time, you know, I think we're going to start to see those things, you know, bear fruit. And that's how you have to judge any baseball team is over the span of a number of games. And I think we're improving. I know we're improving. You know, I see us every day, and I know we're getting better. You know, we just have to continue that progression, particularly with conference play coming up.
And then we mentioned earlier, we're recording this on a Wednesday. You play UMass tonight. Just kind of a quick preview of what they're going to bring, and you know, a good A-10 team coming into Alumni Field.
Definitely, we're excited to play them. A little bit of an opportunity here. I think they were down south for their spring break. They're making their way back up home and kind of stopping over and seeing us. They did the same with Navy yesterday, beat a good Navy program. So not a team that we play regularly, not a team that, you know, we have, you know, a lot of information on from previous years in terms of us playing them, but we've been breaking down the video, and I know they'll be a well-coached team with Coach Reynolds. You know, he was an assistant at Navy before he got up to UMass, so competed against him when he was, you know, close by in Annapolis. You know, I'm expecting kind of what our whole schedule has been, which is, you know, fundamentally sound, you know, mid-major team that fills up the strike zone, plays good defense, and is going to be hard to beat. You know, a team that's not going to beat themselves, and we're going to have to go out and do a few things well to come out on top. So the real benefit is it's a beautiful day. We're getting a chance to play 9 innings against a quality opponent, you know, 2 days before conference play. So I think kind of having a double midweek before conference play, keeping the guys sharp as we're headed into the meat of our season, I think that's super positive. So we're excited to go out there today.
And then you talked about improving and seeing the team improving throughout the season so far. But one guy that I know we've talked about a lot, but he's been kind of a consistent force for you guys, Miles Nicholson. He's hitting over 450. He has 14 stolen bases. Make sure I got this right. He's 5th in the country in stolen bases. Just talk about him and you know, the stolen bases. It's been a thing in the past with your programs, getting the speed on the base pass, trying to move runners that way. Is that something you're seeing as an advantage for you guys this year, and especially Miles with 14 already this season?
I think it's an advantage. I think it kind of goes to a broader goal in recruiting of just being a really athletic position player group, you know, because that athleticism is the one thing that really impacts both sides of the ball in our sport. You know, the athleticism to run the bases and the athleticism to cover ground defensively. So we put a big premium on that. It's not necessarily all about just stealing bases. It's about, you know, being able to turn balls and play into outs. And I think that takes first step quickness, you know, those kind of explosive athletes. You need to get a bunch of them on your team. And Miles is certainly one of them. He's a guy who's done a great job with his approach. I think his walk to strikeout numbers are phenomenal. I think that's really the best thing about his game right now is his control of the strike zone and his ability to make quality contact. On the bases, he's obviously a huge threat. You know, I think even though he's a 5th-year senior, you know, all the players are young at our level. So he's still improving his game, refining his game, kind of finding out which spots he can really, you know, use this exceptional tool that he has to influence the outcome. So, you know, we only get 1 year with him, but we're really glad he's with us. He's been great to coach. I think he's improved a lot, you know, in the time that he's been here. And like our team, we're expecting him to improve across the season. You know, I think that's the biggest thing for Miles and for everybody else is to be a better team now that we're in March than we were in February. By April, we want to be a better team than we are right now. And then by May, obviously, that's the business end of the season. That's when you want to be playing your best baseball. So, you know, we're with Miles and everybody else, like the player development doesn't stop just because, you know, opening day gets here. You know, we want these guys to just always be building a game that can influence America East baseball games and turn them our way. So definitely pleased with him and his development. It's been great to see.
And then you mentioned it earlier, conference play is here this weekend after today against UMass. Albany coming to town for 3 games. Conference moving the schedules to 1 game over the span of 3 days. Is that going to be a change for you guys coaching wise after last year being 2 days of doubleheaders and before that a doubleheader and then a single game?
It'll change some bullpen stuff a little bit. Mostly I think it'll make the level of play better. You know, I think focusing on 9 innings each day is the way it's supposed to be done. I think we said this on one of these shows earlier that I think this has been an overdue fix for our league. And there's a reason that in the rest of the country, they go with this schedule. I think it's the best way to play it. So I don't know if it's going to be strategically a massive shift, but definitely something that we're looking forward to is just being able to play a standard Friday, Saturday schedule for sure.
And then let's talk about Albany coming in. They have a guy, Brad Mom. He's first in the country in home runs per game. He's second in slugging. They have another guy who has 14 stolen bases per game. They're a team that's playing really well right now. What do you expect from them coming in this weekend?
I expect them to be what they always are, which is well coached and disciplined and tough. I think Coach Mueller does a really good job up there. I've been coaching against him my entire time in the conference. Have a ton of respect for him and his program. They're always, I feel like they're a team in our conference that's always better than the sum of their parts, and I think that goes back to the way that program is run. So it's a credit to those guys. They, and not just the guys that you mentioned, but they have a bunch of like veteran players who have been in college baseball 5, and I think one guy may have been in 6 years. So it's guys who have definitely been around the block. They've been in a quality program for a long time. They've gotten a lot of development over that time. And I think the statistics are bearing out some of those results. They're going to be a good veteran team that, again, similar to what I was saying about UMass, like we're going to have to go out and play well to beat. At the same time, I think when we're on our game, I think we're pretty good. I think we're 7-8, which is, not an overwhelming record, but outside of one game, I did a little prep for the weekly report here, a little bit of statistical stuff here, Dave. Outside of one game where we just didn't play well against St. Joseph's, the other 7 losses are by a total of 14 runs. So we're really competitive. We're in a lot of close ball games. I think the development that I'm talking about across the season, like we need to keep it going. We need to keep getting better. If we're able to level up, kind of one more step, then whether it's Albany or anybody else, I think we'll be in a great position to give ourselves a chance to win. So as always, like that's what we're focused on. Like we can't help that they have some good veteran players playing well. What we can do is, go out to BP today with great focus to get ready for this UMass game, play our style of baseball against UMass, get a great practice on Thursday, and then, empty the tank against Albany and see what it gets us.
All right. Well, Coach, as always, good luck today and good luck this weekend. And thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. So the Retrievers back home this weekend, 3 games against UAlbany after tonight against UMass. Friday at 3, Saturday at 2, and Sunday at 1 p.m., all at Alumni Field. And as always, you can keep up to date with UMBC Baseball at the team's Twitter page at UMBC Baseball and at umbcretrievers.com.